Hello, everybody. This is Frogman, and welcome back to Serious Engineering. Last episode, we did a lot of work towards getting some more goodness for pneumatic craft, and I went ahead and did a little bit of goofing around in here. We got everything kind of organized the way that I want it for the moment. I moved the assembly system crafter machine stuff over to this corner over here, and I have it set up so that I believe the blue one is the input. He pulls parts out of this chest, and the output is right there, and he puts stuff into this chest, and I went ahead and made a bunch of pressure tubes because we're going to need it. The laser is right there in that corner, and the drill is right here, and it works. So that works just fine this direction. I had this kind of set up to where the IOs were input-output arms were right here, and I don't know why the input-output arms can reach the assembly table, but the drill and the laser can't if they're in the corner. So this works. It's fine. It looks good. You just have two chests, and that's fine. Most of what we're going to be doing with this is going to be hand feeding it anyway, so we don't really have to be too worried about it. I did kind of do a little goofing around. I have a canister in this for a reason, mainly because as we notice, our air pressure is up almost at 5, and that's good because I kind of forgot about it and walked away and forgot to put the redstone control in, and now I have to wait until I use this up a little bit before we get it. So how I'm going to redstone control the on-off pressure system is that we're going to measure off of this little guy here. And more or less what's going on here is from this point here to about that point right here, or should say that point down there, they're about the same distance apart. So between that pipe and about where that thing is right there, they're about the same distance. So I shouldn't have to worry about blowing anything up right here. So we're going to, what did I pick up? I must pick something up, whatever. We're going to be measuring the pressure right here as it's going into the pressure chamber for right now using a pressure gauge tube module. So pressure gauge tube module. Let's just do it like this. Tube. Can't type today. Pressure gauge tube module is, I've been playing around in creative, and I don't know what the heck's been going on with this thing. I've had 2 crashes and a whole bunch of stuff today, so hopefully we can get this through without having more problems. Pressure gauge tube module requires a pressure gauge, which is just that, a pressure tube, and some redstone. And what the tube module does is it emits a redstone signal based on how much um, it actually sees. And I'm just now reading this again. When upgraded with an advanced PCB, the threshold can be configured precisely in the GUI. So PCB, there's an advanced one, this one. We may look into that eventually because for right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of cheesing this system using just kind of a little bit of vanilla redstone, whereas I'm using a dropper with about this many items in it, and I actually think this is a little too much for the distance that we have right here. This is a finicky little thing that you have to just sit there and kind of play with until you get the pressure that you want. But basically what I'm doing is I'm using a redstone comparator in subtract mode. And what we're doing is we're subtracting the signal from here from a known constant here. I should say that whatever. Basically what I want to do is I want to take a high number here and I want to slowly subtract an input from the side until those numbers either equal 0 or -1. And as soon as that happens, it will put a redstone signal out to the side here, which is going to turn this on. So as that number drops down, it will eventually, these two numbers will equalize to the point where this will actually turn itself on. And I've got it shut off right now for a reason because we're already full and I was busy doing other things. And when I get a minute or two, I will play with this. But this system works. Now, as far as that little deal there, where if I add an advanced PCB to the system, that will allow me to be able to directly control, I believe, when this thing will emit a redstone signal. And I guess what we could do is, if we have time to see that when we get done here, we'll craft these because I don't have any printed circuit boards made up. So I do have another compressor sitting here with a single speed upgrade in it, and that is more than enough to keep up with these two processes. This thing and this thing over here do not use a lot of air. So mainly all I'm trying to do is just keep them full. And on this one, we have a heat sink just to keep this cooled off. So that's done. That thing's working. So just so we're caught up. Last episode, I said we were going to start working on making some power because Between that compressor and that compressor out there, we don't have enough RF generation anymore. And I know that, and I know there are ways of making RF, and we're going to go right straight just into the just get it over with tooth and nails kind of thing. So I've spent a lot of time making steel and a lot of time making little bitty parts, and I probably still have some more steel in here. You need some of this. Just keep going. And that's basically all I've been doing is running back and forth between coal and there and making steel and doing other things. And we can take those and put them away. But I've used up a little bit of our stock. I still have lots of iron because, that farm down there does all the work. Plus, I went ahead and reworked a bunch of some of our other materials so that I could have the various things that we needed. So, what are we going to do for power? Well, in this pack, we have immersive technology. And immersive technology has one of my favorite ways of making power, which is the steam turbine in the alternator. And the steam turbine is a big, gigantic structure that requires a lot of steel and a lot of little bitty parts. But what it does is it basically takes steam and turns it into a rotational force or rotational motion that we can then run through. Come on, back up, run through and connect to an alternator, which again requires a lot of steel and a lot of parts and a lot of other little bitty things that are a royal pain in the butt to craft. But we got them all done, or at least I hope I got them all done. I got a chest out there with all the parts. So that's great. That's fine. That's wonderful. Well, if we read on how this system is going to work while we have a minute, the alternator takes a steam turbine to create roughly about 12,000 RF a tick, and each one of the output ports on the alternator can output at 2,048 RF a tick, or the same amount as an MV wire. The thing can store 1.2 million flux, or basically RF. It has a battery built into it that can hold that much flux. So that's cool. That's great. How do we make it work? Well, the steam turbine requires, of course, obviously, steam to run. So we can basically what we do is we build the structure, pump steam into it, it turns the alternator makes power. So 12,000 RF a tick, I think, is probably going to be more than what we're going to need for this entire system, but it's one of my favorite entire packs. But it's one of my favorite ways of making power, pretty much when you have it available, because it is really pretty good. So I usually will pair them with other forms of steam generation, like railcraft generators or other things like that, but we don't have that. Now, I do know that as far as has been told, or at least if I recall correctly, where are we? Power generators, the power generation, where is it? Diesel generator should be able to run on steam as well, but it's only going to be making about 4,096 RF a tick. And I'm not going to do that because I may need 2 or 3 of those. So if I need to build 3 of these guys, these diesel generators, come on back down here, please. Where's the button? If I need to build 3 of these, it's actually cheaper in the long run to build 1 turbine and an alternator. So that parts-wise, it's cheaper. Pretty close anyway. Their numbers are really close. So how are we going to power them? Well, that's going to be the fun part that is Immersive Technologies' system of making power. So over here I have a base created, prepped up, building started, foundation kind of thing that we're going to build all of the structures and all of the things that we need on it. And like I said, it's kind of one of those at this point in time in this pack, I have plenty of resources to build various things, but we're going to go through this from the back to the front. So we're going to start with the turbines and the alternator. There's going to be 1 turbine here, and the alternator is going to sit right next to it. We're going to have 2 fuel tanks or steam fuel tanks so that we can have enough power to be able to run most of the way through the night, hopefully. Since I sleep all the time anywhere, I try to sleep all the time, I'm not really worried about these, but it does eventually require me to not sleep once in a while unless I'm downstairs or whatever. In this little spot right here, I am going to be building, let's get these guys up. Where are we? We need to go to Immersive Technology. We're going to be building a solar tower. Now, solar towers basically are just, again, a lot of steel and a lot of parts and a lot of things, but it takes water or purified water and boils it down with the power of the sun. And the reason why I have these little spaces marked out here and why we have poles up in the air is because in order to be able to make that work, you have to use solar tower or solar reflectors. So in order to get the max performance out of one of these solar towers, you have to feed it with 4 solar reflectors. And because there's a poles up there, I'm going to stack 2 solar towers. I'm going to put a solar tower down here. I'm going to put another one on top of it. And then on top of those posts are going to be the reflectors for the other ones. Now, the fun part about the reflectors, and the reason why I have these kind of marked out the way that I do, is for a visual representation. In the book, and this is something I always manage to mess up or screw up or forget about, the solar reflector away from the solar tower has to be outside of 5 blocks from the tower to 10 blocks away from it. So I have to stay outside of 5 blocks. So on the 6th block, I'm placing my reflectors. The solar reflectors also require that the top of the reflector not have any obstruction to the sky. So the next reflector is going to be 1 block behind it. Now I've built this tall. I mean, I've built these tower systems like this quite tall before. I think I've stacked, I don't remember, 4 or 5 on top of each other just to kind of goof around and have with them. And as long as you keep moving the reflectors backwards, you can continue to do that until you run out of that space. So you have the ability to stack like 5 tall before you're actually into a problem where you can't run it anymore because you're outside of the distance for the reflectors. Now, the other way to make them work as good as you possibly can, if we go over here and we look, 1 bucket of distilled water, or 1 bucket of water, let me see, 1 bucket of water, 1 bucket of distilled water, blah, 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 right there. 1 bucket of water produces 2,000 millibuckets of steam. So for 1 bucket of water, we're going to get 2 buckets of steam. If I use 1 bucket of distilled water, it will produce 3 buckets of steam. And that turbine is hungry. It needs at least 2 of these things to run with excess. 1 will not run that with excess. So that's why we're putting tanks up here, is because I should be able to almost fill up 2 immersive engineering tanks before the sun goes down. So I'm going to try to keep them running somewhat. I don't see us needing 12,000 RF a tick for a while, but we may. So because of the distillation process, the next fun part is, how do you get distilled water? Well, distilled water is made in a distiller. So the fun part about the distiller, and this has been me in my test world for the last, I don't know, hour or 3, is that it takes about 1.5 distillers to just run excess on those solar towers. So I'm going to build 3 of them to run 2 of them to run 1 of them. So I already have some pumps set up out here on the ocean portion, which this should all be ocean, hopefully. And yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and kind of look at some of the little bitty parts that we got. These are actually pretty quick. Let's see, where is my thing? I have both of these out because I've been playing with them. So let's borrow this. And yeah, we're on the distiller. We'll just get a couple of these started, or at least some of this stuff figured out. Because if I remember correctly, this is wrong, and I need to build where's the pipes? I think I need to face the redstone block this way. Yes, so we'll put him down, and we'll just go ahead and knock out this one really quickly so you guys can kind of see what he looks like. I need my light engineering blocks, those, and get out of that. Where to go? Come here, you. Come up here where I can see you. There we go. All right, scaffolding, and this took a lot of steel, lots and lots and lots of steel, but it's done, and it should make lots of power. And if I really feel like it, I can start really cranking up on some of the other stuff. Now, why are you not happy? What did I do wrong? What is that supposed to be? That's supposed to be one of those. Okay. Put down 2 more of these and 2 more of those. And this should be green, and I'm hoping I got this face the right direction. Yes, I did. Good. All right. Now, we're going to have fun with the piping because all of this is going to auto a magical output everywhere it needs to go. So we should be pretty easy to make this work. But in a sense, what we do is we're going to do something like that, where the water's going to come in from over there. It's going to get dropped into this distiller. And with a connector and a wire, there we go. I'm going to be hooking all three of these guys up so that we can get this system sorted. Now, there are two outputs for distillers. You get a distilled water output and a, that's what this is for, thing, which we're going to have to actually probably just make a bunch of trash cans. A salt output. After a certain period of time, you're going to get a small amount of salt that comes out of the distiller as it does its work. So, we got this set up, we got this kind of figured out, or at least this thing's going on. I am going to go ahead and blow out these other two over here, and then we're going to start producing power on this system, or at least so we're going to start probably plugging that in. But I'm going to get these guys built, and I will be right back so that we can start working on that thing. Alrighty then, those are pretty well done. I'm just piping them up for right now, and we're going to have to hook up a little bit of power to them, just, well, the current power. We don't have any power built yet, but we'll get there. Hopefully I have enough cabling to get to various places, and I think this one will see that one. I hope it sees that one. It does look like it has line of sight. If not, I may have to move something. Good deal. Okay. So that'll take care of that little problem. The next thing we need to start worrying about is let's get over to this little system here. Sheep, you scared me. I thought it was a spider. And we need to start working with the next mess, which means I need to go ahead and dump most of my inventory out. Hopefully I don't lose anything unimportant. Probably not a good idea to put that away, and I don't think I can put that in there. Can I put that in here? Yes. Okay, cool. I don't need those. We're going to hang on to that pipe. I may need some of this. We'll just do that for right now. I didn't want to put that away. I don't need G-factory blocks, and we need some of this scaffolding. All right. So, in this box, I have a bunch of stuff, and in order to get the solar tower built, we're going to need a bunch of stuff. So, we need fluid pipes, steel scaffolding, engineering blocks, heavy engineering blocks, steel fence, and steel sheet metal. So, scaffolding, fence, scaffolding, sheet metal, heavy engineering blocks, redstone engineering blocks. What else? Was that everything? For the most part? Probably, I think we have enough. I'm going to get a little bit more scaffolding, and I'll grab some more of those just in case. So, what I want to do, again, is we're going to build this guy in the center, and then we're going to go ahead and get some of the solar-powered systems on the outside working. So, the inputs for this are going to be on the bottoms. And as you can see, there's one thing right there on the... That's nice. Since when do they do that? Okay, whatever. We're going to set this right here pretty much about the spot like so, I believe, because I want at least the redstone control facing this direction. So let's go ahead and build this one. And this one is actually pretty simple aside from putting the fences up. So scaffoldings, and let's see. Yeah, now we're into the steel blocks. So that's, or the steel blocks, the sheet metals. All right. And that one redstone engineering block. And then up the center with the heavy engineering. So this is where the fun part goes because of the fencing. So let's do that. No, I want that down here. Quit flying. Sheet metal. Give me that stupid thing. Quit. There you go. All right. And then that. And then this. And this. And this. And this. And this. And that. More fence. And this, we need to put down some steel sheet metals. More sheet metal. More sheet metal. Fence. And one of those. And I think we're at the top, which this should, I think, all be scaffolding, correct? Come on. There we go. Scaffolding, 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 and we're green. So, let's see. Jump. And if I go ahead and click on this guy right here, there is our solar tower. Now, those are the ports where the sun is supposed to shine into it, or the beam coming off of the, whatever you want to call them, things are. And they're actually pretty simple. They should just be a few of these plus some treated wood. So I am going to have to make, what did I do with the other thing? Whatever. Where is my book? My book needs to be over to here, and those can be found as you toggle over when you're in the actual page for the solar tower. So now we have our solar mirrors, and they're pretty simple. Like I say, we just need a few treated woods and a couple of scaffoldings. That light engineering block there, block of silver, and I think fence. Oh, I got rid of it. Where did it go? Come here. Where is my projector? Go up there where I can see you. Okay, and then all I need to do now is go up one more and put a scaffolding there. Scaffolding, and a light engineering block. And that's all good and golden. Now, let's get that out of its way. Again, we have to make sure that the line of sight between that block and that block in the center of there is clear. And as far as I know, and I've tested this, these things are double-sided. So as long as they have line of sight to the sky above them, you can use the mirror to mirror backwards into another one. So what in the heck? Oh, it's the fence. So, but yeah, you can definitely do that. I've tried that, or at least tested that. So now, if we look in here, we don't have anything going on. We don't have a single thing happening. We're not happy. Nobody's doing anything. So if I go grab a bucket of water, which is over here, and I took my glider off, so now I have to bounce over here. Make sure we go out into the ocean. There we go. That's ocean. Okay. I don't want to have to fix water right now. And I put a bucket of water in this thing. We now have a light that's on. And as you see, it took all of that water and made 2 buckets of steam out of it, which is pretty cool. And that's the only way you know that it's working is if you put water into the actual thing. So the water is going to be brought in here, the distilled water at that point in here, and the output is going to exist right here, which is going to run backwards over to this direction into these 2 tanks. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out the rest of this process, and we're going to start this process over here. So I will be back once we get all of that done. Okay, so got the second tower built, got the reflectors all sorted out. So let's hit the button and we can go ahead and tell this to clear out. Thank you, so I don't have to look at you anymore. And that should work. So let's go ahead and come down here. Break our little scaffolding. Man, those things are so cool. We need to be able to pipe water, of course, into these 2 guys and pipe the steam back out. So I need to go ahead and go grab a bunch of my pipe that I have laying around so that we can start at least filling up tanks so that we have some energy and things to do stuff when we're ready to do it. So I am going to, I think, probably run a line up that direction. Not really concerned about how this is all going to look for right now, although I do kind of want it above ground. Let me get a piece of sand or 2. Of course, my shovel is in my other thing, so just give me pieces of sand. Thank you. So click, click, and we're going to come up and out of the ground at that point and just kind of follow this along to the back of the building just because we can, and I can easily decorate this and make it look nice and pretty later on. I just want to have this running today. So let's see, where are we? We got to get over to about right there. All right, I need my shovel. Go get my shovel. What'd you do with your shovel? There it is. And I need those two. Thank you. I'm going to try to keep this kind of pretty, although I don't necessarily guarantee it. There we go. All right, and we need to hook this one up to this, and then we're going to need to run a pipeline. I guess I don't have to do that pipe, do I? Dirt, block. Okay. And because we're going to end up blocking the solar port here, I want to make sure that I build this up along the side of it so that I don't block the port up. There we go. Cool. Thunk. And into the area. All right, so those should be able to fill up themselves now, so we need to be able to do the same thing right here. So I'm going to do the steam outlet pipe somewhat about like this general direction. Fortunately, that's not going to be very square or center, but that's how it's going to work for now. I guess I could probably rotate this so that it fits on this side, but I've already got it built. No big deal. We'll fix this as we go. So this is just minor. It doesn't even matter where and how and all this stuff goes. I'm just wanting it to look fairly decent before we turn everything on and I have to tear it all apart. So again, steam outlet right here, going up to the second port so that we're clearing the mirrors so that they're not, being obstructed. And over to, and I'm out of pipe already. Okay, cool. How much pipe do we have left? Where is my pipe? Nice. Well, I'll have to make some more pipe. Okay. Let's put our little covers down just to make things look pretty for the minute. Nope. 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 There. Thank you. And I'll just do that for the minute. All right, cool. And I want to go ahead and start getting these guys running, even if it's just a little bit, so that they can get a buffer up and do a few things. So we do have some time right now. Let's go ahead and steal what's left of this little thing. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. And can I just down and dirty this over to there probably? Let's see. Where is my insulated wire? So let's do the 16 to that point right there. Right there. All right, cool. And the aluminum fence, because I made a whole bunch of aluminum fence because I like the aluminum poles. Up. And just go ahead and hook those pumps up and have them start doing some work. Where's my wire? There's my wire. There we go. All right. Linking, linking, linking. Post. 1, 2, 3. Good enough for now. Because I want that to start filling things up so that as soon as we kick these off, they go to work. So I wonder if that's going to be close enough or if that's going to be too far. I knew it. Where is it at? Well, I guess we can kind of run it this direction then. So there again. 1, 2, 3. Climb the pole. Go. Doot. Doot. You guys should have water in you with a very small minimal amount of power coming in because there's hardly any power on that thing. But that's okay. Take a nap. And there is some salt. Good. So that worked. That means we made a little bit of distilled water. And you guys are working all 4 of those things, 4 of the solars, or the reflectors are working. Let's check the next one. The only problem about checking the status on it is you got to climb up to it. So good. That's what I wanted to see, is that all 4 of them that were going to work. We're going to take what's left of this distilled water here. It's going to fill up the buffer for steam so that when we're ready to go with steam, we're ready to go. And I need to go make some more pipes so that we can get to work on that thing. I swear I had enough pipe, but maybe I didn't. Let's look one more time, because all of this is going to be for tanks, so I guess we can go ahead and build some tanks. Those are not too terribly hard to do. I'm going to have 2 tanks to contain steam. These are going to be our fuel tanks for the time at night while it is not sun shining, if I happen to do it. And, while the sun's not out, like I said, if I don't sleep, like I've been pretty good at sleeping for the most part anyway, just because it gets really dangerous around here. 1, 2, 3, and I think it's 5. I think that's it. That's probably too short. Nope, that's just right. And we're going to use the regular old iron sheet metal tanks, the normal ones, not the steel ones. I know they hold more, but for what it's worth, steel is enough of a pain in the butt to get right now that took quite a long time to make all the parts just to make this thing. I didn't feel like making a little bit more sheet metal just to do this. So, okay, so there we have our fuel tanks. So now we have that stuff producing. If I had some pipe, we could start filling these things up. So I'm going to go ahead and make some pipe because I need it for this, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, so we got a little bit of pipe, and I'm just now putting in the nice little fuel pipe in here to fill up our tanks. So fuel pipe, steam pipe, whatever you want to call it, pipe, go. Alright, nice. And those guys should be filling up full of steam now, and that's going to be great. That means we'll have plenty of power to kick this sucker off when the time comes. So that's going to pretty much chew up every little bit of power that's in the base at this point, once those back stuff or whatever. But this is pretty much going to work fairly well. We've got these basically full of distilled water at this point, and if I come over to these machines, the distilleries, we're going to notice that they're going to be slowly draining. They should about they're just a little bit faster with 3 of them than those guys will be, so we'll always have a little bit of backlog over there as well as probably over here. I'm just hoping to try to keep these full. Again, I sleep all the time, so it doesn't really matter for the most part. So let's get on to building the next big monster, and I think I can take all that. Yes, I can. Cool. Is that everything? I hope. Yeah? All right, neat. Matter of fact, put the dirt away, and let's do this the fun way. Steam turbine. Right there. Yes, sir, please. We'll take you and you, and you will now be the steam turbine, and you're going to go in that corner. I'm going to grab this book, and we're going to we're going to grab the alternator. Like I said, the alternator, like I said, very, very, very expensive. Many capacitors, many parts, many of these high voltage, yeah, that hurts. But again, we'll be able to build it now because I have an alternator projector. So now, if I take this and I put the alternator down, I actually wanted to put him down first so that I could see which direction that it went, at least to the spot that we're putting it. There's a steel input block, or the steel block right there in the center. It's kind of hard to tell. That is the side that is going to face the turbine. So we're going to shift right click him right there. Now, if I grab this one, which is the steam turbine, it should have a block hanging out one side of it. And I think I want it that way. Kind of hard to tell without looking at it. There it is. That block right there. It's kind of hard to see. I want it to be about like that. All right. And we should be able to build both of them at the same time. Hopefully. I've got quite the clutter of inventory at this point. Magnet, stop. I don't need your help at the minute. So, let's get these guys built up and we can continue on with the fun stuff. So, there we go. And I think those are the only ones we're going to see. We got a whole lot of sheet metal blocks between the two constructions here. They are two separate multi-blocks. I don't understand exactly why they're two separate multi-blocks, but they are. Heavies. And a heavy, and these go right here. They should just stack up like this all the way. All right, so where are we at now? Everybody's happy. We need some pipe right there. Probably still going to have to go make some more pipe. And I believe I can invert this side here. If I want to say to move the fuel pipe over here, I believe all I have to do is move these pipes over there. So we're going to give that a try because I want that pipe to be as close as possible. You can invert these, the mirrorable multi-blocks like this one. I can change the sides on it, so this should actually work, although it's going to be a royal pain. We'll go ahead and build it, and then I'll invert it just so that I can see what I'm doing. But you can invert the sides on it, and it should mirror correctly, since the only real difference is where the pipe is and where these blocks and the redstone block are. So we'll go ahead and build this. So that, and all of this is steel blocks, sheet metal, steel blocks, steel blocks. Ow, ow, ow. Steel block all the way over. Nope. Steel block. Right there, right there. Oh, we need to put the generator blocks down. No. Good Lord. There and there. I thought I got all this. Capacitor. Capacitor, capacitor, capacitor. So then we look back at the steel block. There's one right there. That is supposed to be a heavy engineering block, yes, I think. Two more generator blocks there and there. And more sheet metal. And you are almost done, so we'll go ahead and just build you. 1, 2, 3. Sheet metal, for Pete's sake. Sheet metal. You're green, ready to go. And you need a little bit more there. Sheet metal, sheet metal. Sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal. Redstone engineering blocks. Heavy engineering blocks. Fluid pipe, fluid pipe. So that means I'm going to have to invert that whole side. But we'll give it a second. I'll show you what I mean here once we get this built. I believe this is a mirrorable one because the one I'd had in my test world I built backwards from this. So this is green. We need some radiator blocks. Radiator, 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 radiator. Radiator. Pipe. Green. Sleep. Okay, so we can click on this one because it is pretty much however it's meant to be, and that is going to be the alternator projector. You can stop doing that, thank you. And I think if I just float that block, that block, and that block, that block, that block, and that block, and that block, and put this, and the redstone down, and the fluid pipe, 2, 3, with that, it works. Okay, cool. Yeah. And if you notice it, if you build it the other way around, the redstone engineering block will end up on the other side, or this control over here. So the fluid input will be over here. The redstone input will be over here. So that's one of those things you can do with a lot of the immersive engineering constructions, is you can mirror them to do various things. So, alrighty then. We have a little bit of steam. We have a little bit of stuff. Hey, how did that happen? Give me my... There, thank you. All right, nice. And you can actually see some of the stuff. I was hoping that I was going to get to see that underneath of most of these constructions. You can't see it under that one. That's fine. Whatever. We'll be on with what we need to do. So, I need to make some more pipe again. And yeah, I'll be back. Okay, so how we're going to make this part work is I'm going to bring the pipe out from the bottom of these tanks about right here. Whoop, that's not a pipe. That's a pipe. Thank you. And we're going to smack a redstone lever on the sides of them. And they're going to join up into the floor right here just so I can walk nicely around it. And I don't know if that'll connect to here, if it actually has to connect to the back. So it has to connect to the back. All right. So we're just trying to make this reasonably decent looking so that I don't have to, trip over pipes or look at things. And plus, we have the ability to make things pretty. Might as well make things pretty. So we'll bury it. And I do this mainly because you can see through underneath. And if you have dirt, you can see underneath. So it's not something I like to see if I have things. So I can always come back with the scaffolding. I just need to get this guy up and running today. So dink, dink, and go. This thing is incredibly loud. Incredibly loud. But the alternator should be now full. It's up to its thing. What we're going to do is we're going to make a whole bunch more capacitors for this. For right now, I'm just going to leave it alone. But we need to go ahead and run power down to that point over there so that I can start to... so we can actually power that system up. So before I go too crazy... Actually, no, I'm just going to do it this way. Before I go too crazy, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just build a pole right here for now, because I will be building a distribution center, because this thing only outputs at 2048 RF a tick per connector. So that's what an MV wire connector can do. MV wires, I think, can carry 16,000. I don't know exactly. 14,000, I'd have to look at the book. I was going to look at the book. Too many mod packs, too many changes, too many things to the way things work. But there we go to that. And then we can run this down here and do the fun stuff of building. That's going to be... Actually, no, that's perfect. Can I do that? And then can I climb pole and do that and do that? Perfect. Nice. Love it. Which means I might be able to do the same thing over here. Can I see you line of sight? Where is my hammer? Yes, I know, bird. I did it right there. There. Click. And then we're just going to have to drag it this direction. Let's put one right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, nope. Come on. Let me climb the pole. Wire. And power. Now these are going to be running at full tilt. I think they make noise too. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, these make noise too. So we should have all the water we need at this point, all the power we need at this point. Everything's being taken care of, processed. These guys are going to fill up very slowly. As we can see, we're starting to just barely gain. And I should be good to go on the rest of it. So, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Power's up, power's good, power's running. It sounds good. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I think for now, I am going to call that. That's exactly where I want it to be. We now have about 12,000 RF a tick to play with, and it should be pretty much self-sustaining. I am going to go ahead and put a few more capacitors right here, just so that we can really maximize the amount of power we can store, because this thing holds 1 million, and a regular capacitor holds 4. So if I stick 6 4 million storage capacitors on them, that will get us quite a bit more power. So, okay, guys, I think we're going to call it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.